Woohoo! Time to start video number 2 for Unit 4. Here we go. Okay, so let's recap equilateral triangles. Equilateral triangles have 3 congruent sides. So these are all the same length. But did you know that they have the same angle also? Do you know why the angles have to all be 60 degrees? Well, if you are thinking because it has to total 180 because of the angle sum theorem, you're correct. So 60 plus 60 plus 60 is 180, and since all the angles are congruent, they all have to equal 60. Okay, moving on to isosceles triangles. Isosceles triangles have 2 congruent sides and 2 congruent angles. So the angles that are congruent are down here. They're called the base angles because this is the base. This angle is called the vertex angle. So the vertex angle is between the 2 base angles. So the base angles are congruent and they go along with the sides. So they're opposite the sides that are congruent. Okay, so 2 congruent sides, 2 congruent angles, and then you have your vertex angle that's not the same as the base angles. Okay, that was fast. It's already time to start solving some problems. So go to your notes section, make sure you put your title, and fill out your table of contents. Okay, so we're going to be solving this triangle for x. Do you know what type of triangle it is? Well, with these congruent marks, hopefully you realize that it is an equilateral triangle. So equilateral triangles have all the same length sides. So if we want to solve for x, what we need to do is just set up an equation with the sides that are congruent. Well, all 3 sides are congruent. So we don't need all 3. Just pick 2. Pick any 2 sides and set them equal to each other, and we'll be able to solve for x. So we're solving for x, so let me go ahead and make a spot for my answer. So x equals, okay, so pick any 2 sides. I'm going to pick 6x and 3x plus 12, just because 6x looks easier. So 6x I know is equal to 3x plus 12 because they're congruent sides. Now I just have to solve this equation, so I'll subtract 3x on both sides. And we end up with 3x equals 12. Divide by 3 on both sides. And we get that x equals 4. So you could plug the 4 back in and actually get each of the lengths, and you would get that all of them are congruent. So if we were to put 4 in right here, this side would be 24. If we put 4 right here, that would be 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 12 is 24. And here, if we put in 4, that would be 4 times 4 is 16. 16 plus 8 is 24. So equilateral triangle. Okay, do you know what this type of triangle is? Well, if you're thinking isosceles, you are correct because you have 2 congruent sides. So we need to solve for x. So let me put a spot here for my answer. X equals. Now, we have 2 congruent sides. So we know that this is equal to this. So that's going to be the equation that we set up. So we know that 2x minus 9 is equal to x plus 5. And we just have to solve for x. So let's subtract the x to the other side. So we're getting our variables to one side. 2x minus x is 1x, or just x, minus 9 equals 5. Add 9 to both sides to get x by itself. and we end up with x equals 14. So let's look at what happens when we plug 14 in. 2 times 14 is 28. 28 minus 9 is 19. When I plug 14 in here, 14 plus 5 is 19. So both sides equal 19 because it's isosceles triangle. Okay, for problem number 3, we have to find x and y. So let's put a spot for our answers. X equals and y equals. Okay, well, first you need to decide what type of triangle you're working with. And because you have 2 congruent sides, we know it's isosceles. Well, isosceles triangles have 2 equal sides and 2 equal angles, or 2 congruent angles. So we know that this angle is actually congruent to this angle, just like our picture we drew for isosceles triangle. So that makes it kind of easy to figure out what y is. So y has to be 52 degrees. So y is 52. I'll put degrees. Okay, well, now we have to think back to what we did in the previous set of notes to get x. So we know this is 52, this is 52, and what are we going to do to get this angle so that we can solve for x? Well, remember that all 3 angles have to add up to 180. Okay, all 3 angles have to add to 180. So I can just set that equation up and I'll be able to solve for x. So we know that 52 plus 52 plus 14x plus 6, all 3 of those angles have to equal 180. Now we just have to solve this equation. So we have 14x. We need to combine our like terms. So 52 and 52 is 104. 104 plus 6 is 110. Okay, now we need to keep solving. So let's subtract 110 from both sides. So we get 14x equals 70. Now we need to divide both sides by 14. And 14 goes into 70 5 times. So x would have to equal 5. And you could, if you're feeling spunky, you could plug 5 in here, figure out this angle, make sure 52 plus 52 plus whatever this angle is equals 180. So you can check your answer. Okay, well, I hope you took good notes and I hope you have a great day.